back to this special edition of African Voices. The World Cup has started and we are talking football. In this part of the programme, I'm joined by two movie makers who've both made films about football in Africa. In a minute, I'll be chatting to them, but first of all, let's have a look at their work.
Dans ces années-là, après la Coupe du Monde 90 du Cameroun, tout le monde rêvait d'aller en Europe. Et puis l'image du footballeur africain était devenue très bonne auprès des clubs européens. Et ça a occasionné une vraie avalanche de joueurs africains vers l'Europe. Et moi, je faisais partie de ces joueurs-là. Je suis arrivé à 19 ans.
Okay, Simon Bath, I saw both the films in full and I thought they were both absolutely great, give a real insight into Africa. Talk us a little bit through just how important football is to the African people.
I think we're at a very interesting time right now, hopefully a crucial moment in history. You know, South Africa hosting the World Cup for the first time ever on the continent, and you know, it's a massively important time. I think that the crucial thing with the World Cup is to ensure that there's a legacy left by South Africa. I think it's not sufficient to simply generate a little bit of revenue for the usual suspects. Actually, what it could be and what it should be is the use of a very powerful tool, football, for social change. And you know, I would personally hope that South Africa leaves a legacy of development and grassroots structure throughout Africa, but not just Africa, the whole world.
When you're looking at you know, the young people and their relationship with the game, which is what both the films do look at, what's the big dream for kids out in Africa? Is it to make their way to Europe? Is that the big hope?
You know, the standard dream for the 11-year-old in a township in Africa, you know, is like every other school child in the world. It's to be the next Eto'o, to be the next Drogba, to be the next Michael Essien. And you know, some of these dreams are more achievable than others. You know, I truly believe that we have to institute a system across Africa and across the world really, where a child can stay in his hometown where he's grown up until the age of, for me, minimum 16, maybe even 18. Now, you know, that doesn't mean that he has to miss out, but what it means is there has to be enough incentives for a young kid to stay in his home country. So we're talking about Ghana, we're talking about South Africa, we're talking about Ivory Coast. You know, they produce incredible footballers, but the incentive is not there to stay in your domestic league. And it's something that I really, truly believe and hope that the World Cup can change.
En Norvège, je me suis entraîné avec un club et je suis resté là-bas une semaine. C'était un peu dur pour moi, quoi, parce que c'est une autre façon de jouer, c'est une autre mentalité. Il m'a amené, là je suis allé m'entraîner dans un autre club. Bon, tout le monde était sympa dans ce club-là, ça se passait super bien, je m'entraînais bien. Et je m'étais fait mal à la fin je m'étais fait une pointe ici derrière la cuisse. Durant ce moment, je ne m'entraînais pas, je faisais rien.
And from what I saw in the films, the actual move from Africa to Europe for these kids can be really traumatic, can't it? Talk us through some of the hardships that they go through.
I mean, it's challenges, you know, everyone has challenges. And I think, I mean, to expand on Simon's point, all the players at the top of the African tree, if we're looking at Drogba, Eto'o, Muntari, Essien, all these guys, they didn't leave Cote d'Ivoire or Cameroon or Ghana and go straight to Chelsea and command 20 record transfer fees. What has to happen is that these players have to go to lower leagues, if you like. I mean, places like France, Belgium, Cyprus, Israel, and that's where they get the opportunity to go into the shop window that is the Champions League, the Europa Cup, prove themselves outside of their home territories, and then if they prove themselves in that sphere, that's when the big money comes in.
A lot of footballers are trying to use their personal wealth, though, aren't they, at a later date to then kind of put back into the community to set up their own foundation. Yeah. How important is it to be seen to be doing something for the community, to be seen to be giving back?
It's very important.
Point which, you know, again, in my film Soka Afrika, we look very deeply into the idea that actually it's important for all of these kids and their families to have the information to make an informed decision.
But sport is widely perceived as kind of this means of escaping poverty, right?
And it is. It's a very real chance to escape a life of poverty, but only for the select few. And you know, the percentages have to be known. For every one Drogba, there are 500,000 kids who do not make it. You know, and it's important for people to know the realities of this situation.
Talk more widely about the World Cup. You touched briefly upon the legacy that you hope that the World Cup in South Africa will leave. To what extent do you think that hosting a tournament like this will allow Africa as a continent as a whole, and South Africa particularly, to change the way that they are perceived worldwide?
Perception's the biggest problem. Forget sport, just in terms of the African continent.
Football, when used in the right way, can be a very powerful tool and can engender social change, and you know, it's a crucial role that it has to play. You know, like Baf said, it's about the fact that, you know, the continent's hosting the World Cup, and you know, the question that has to be screaming out is, how come only now? You know, what's taken so long?